Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it's Thursday, and I think we're going to have possibly a follow-through day tomorrow. Now, there's no, you never know. You never know on these things, but it's looking pretty decent. We had some nice action on the the S&P, so it looks like we might get a follow through day. That would be fantastic if that indeed happens. So, kind of let's just go over some things here, and yeah, we'll let's see. There we go. Okay, so basically, well, let's take that banner off too. I've got too many banners on here. You can't see kind of what's going on. Just want to show you everything. There we go. All right. Well, basically, what we've got is the S&P is finally reversed higher, which is good. It came down below the 40-day line. It got a little bit of it pulled back up to the 40-day, and then it went down, and then it's sort of been testing right about this 40 you know, 42.75 area, and then up, and then up, and then today looks like it's moving back up with a gap. So that's very good. That's very good. That shows that it seems like there's some more action coming back into the market. So currently we're in a market in correction. But if we get a follow through day, that's a signal to come back into the market. I've been doing a little buying today, not a lot, but some buying, kind of getting ready for to come back into the market. I do have a ready list that I put together that will be available for everybody on the on www Dallas Trading Floor. If you want to sign up for that, we'll probably be sending the email out tonight. And you get that. Interestingly enough, the stock of the day, this was actually IBD's stock of the day, is Microsoft, and I've been buying this. I've been buying this week. Didn't buy any today. Probably should have, because it moved very, very nicely. 301. It's up $5.22, about 1.76%. But what's significant here is there's an early entry basically at 295.30, and so even though we're in a market correction, the strongest stocks are going to lead us out, and that's probably this is definitely one of the strongest. Of course, it's not a FANG stock, but it kind of comes into that category. This is probably Microsoft rather than Apple at this point, leading us sort of out. And a very aggressive buy point would be 295.30. Currently it's 301. And I don't exactly know what after hours is, but composite rating is tremendous. 95 out of 99. It's just pretty much very, very good. A very good composite rating. The industry group is 67 out of 197, so it's not quite as good as some of the other stocks. By the way, I did sell Matson today. I got stopped out of it. It pulled back strongly. I had a stop loss, of course, on it, and it pulled back strongly. But that's sort of how it moves. Just kind of want to show you my allocation currently, and this is in the small portfolio. I'm still in 33%, 33.5% in cash, and that's significant. I do have EOG Resources, of course. This is an oil stock. Microsoft, again, I've been building a position in that. I've had a position in Salesforce for a while. I did buy some AMD yesterday. That was looking very, very good. And I do have Hess, which is an integrated oil company. It's down a little bit, but everything else seems to be faring fairly well. So I don't know if I'll hold on to Hess. Just not sure at this point. But here's kind of the lay of the land. EOG Resources down a little bit, about a little less than a quarter, not a lot. Salesforce is up nicely, $5, about almost 2%. Microsoft, again, that's up strongly. Robert Half is up. I did lighten up on the position here a little bit just to make room, because I'm getting ready to do some buys. But this has been a very good one for me. Robert Half. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, of course, this is 4% of the world's Bitcoin, so this is very significant as well. MGM up just slightly, not a lot. And then of course AMD has been doing very, very well. So this is kind of where I'm looking to keep my stock count relatively low. So I'm gonna be sorting out the strong ones and getting rid of the other ones. Interestingly enough, the volume in all of these, with the exception of GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, basically down. So that's not as much conviction as I'd like. I'd like some heavier volume in these leaders. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Here's one that's sort of on my radar, and I kind of wanted to point it out to you. It is Xilinx, ZLNX. It's on the NASDAQ, of course. It's a chip maker. Composite rating is 93. It's a little bit extended, just slightly. What I did is I kind of superimposed this chart here. This is the buy zone here for it. And then it is a bit extended, so I'm not buying it yet. I hopefully will pull back once more, and then it'll be off to the races. This one has been very, very good. Now, not a lot of volume here, so this movement may not be, it may pull back down into the buy zone. This is one that's on my radar, and I think that it might be a good performer in the near future. So Xilinx, ZLNX. I don't own it yet, but it's a little bit extended, but I am considering obviously getting into it. Just kind of want to show you the status of some option trades that we put on. Unfortunately, I'm still, Domino's, it's 495. It's, I think it's starting to turn the corner, but we're still in a loss position. Still haven't closed it or done a roll on this one. So we'll, keep tuned on this one. We may do something on this, but right now we're kind of there. We may, this one isn't due until December, so hopefully we'll we'll have something here pretty shortly for that. Dupont, this is a bear trade. It again, we may be closing this one. I don't know if I got this one right, so I may be closing this one as well. So not doing as well as I would like on some of the spread trades. Hopefully we'll have some better spread trades here. I may do some more obvious ones like like a Microsoft spread or something like that, because I do think, if we move to a confirmed uptrend, we're going to have some nice uptrending volume and prices on certain stocks. So hopefully that will be that'll be something that we can get we could do well on. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Let's see. Let's go. Want to go over here to the. Oh, all right. Well, let's see if I can get this up here, and let's see. I don't know if I can try to exit one of the views here. Not letting me. Okay. So let's get to some of the questions, and hopefully I'll have this in just a second. It's just being a bear. Come on. All right. Well, maybe I'll just have to close it there, and maybe I can get that up. There we go. Took me forever, but I'm up finally with the right with the right one. So let's share out that screen and get the right one in here. All right. So let's go over to Matt. Thank you very much, Matt, for holding on here. GLOB. Let's get globe here. GLOB. If we've got Lobent. Well, it seems to have made a nice turn there. It's trying to kind of get a look at it on the daily chart. We're definitely pulled above the. Come on. There we go. So we've definitely pulled above the 40-day line, so that's a good thing. Nice relative strength, looking good there. Let's kind of check the checklist to see kind of what's going on. Boy, that's got a strong checklist, 100%. So that is looking very, very good. Okay, it's IT services, of course, primarily a lot in Latin America. That's a very interesting one. Very strong, very, very strong. Very, very strong here. So, let's look at the weekly chart. Let's just see if there's any entry point to this. This is a tough one because the buy point is way back here in a consolidation at 244.72. So we're kind of extended, unfortunately, on this one. This might be a good place to get in, but I don't like it because it's extended. So here's the thing about it, Matt. I think, with that, I think you got to be super careful because we still haven't. But this, with the market is what it is. It's got 100% checklist. It's still extended. I would just wait. I would just wait on this one and watch this one. But the stock is extended. So GLOB, I probably would not be in it at this point, just because it's extended. Now Marvell is a different story. That's MRVL. This one is definitely set up. MRVL. And I was looking at this morning. This one's in the buy zone. So let's kind of zoom in a little bit on it. All right. About 200%. There we go. Getting some good magnification here so we can see kind of the action on it. There we go. Okay. So if you look all the way over here at the right-hand side, you'll see it. We're right in the buy zone on this one. There is a flat base, a flat base pivot at 64. We're right above the pivot. This is a good place to buy Marvell. 89 checklist, very strong. The industry, the rank is excellent at 10. This is one that you definitely, this is buyable right now. And I think that no matter how this comes out tomorrow, I think that this one is probably buyable. This is a very good place to buy Marvell. Of the two that you brought up here, Matt, I think that we're better off. We're better off with Marvell. I think this one is the one. You might want to start with a half position here. This might be very, very good. This is a good. This is a good opportunity. Relative strength is rising. We've got a rising relative strength line. We've come through. I think we've come through earnings. Yeah, just recently. Let's look at the fundamentals here. Wow, look at that. Very nice increase in terms of sales, up about 48% quarter over quarter, quarter over year. Excuse me, up 62% in terms of profitability. So the fundamentals look very good. We have nice. We have very good funds in here. I'm kind of just so you can see the fundamentals that I'm talking about here. You know the number of funds in here 1738. Let's kind of look at see who the funds are. I have a feeling that Fidelity Contra is in this one. I just want to take a look to see because if that is the case, then I think we have really yeah, there you go, Fidelity Contra Fund. So this is one of the top funds in the world, and I think that you're looking very good on this, Matt. If you do it, this is a good place to get in. So here's what I would say. MRL, Marvell Technologies. You might want to put GLOB on the watch list, but Marvell Technologies is very strong. It's got a very strong checklist. The only thing it's failing on is earnings per share, and that's coming up. So I think that this one is a definite, definitely you should consider this one. This is this is ready to buy now. So, I don't think you have to wait for a reversal or anything like that. I don't think you have to wait. I think this is a good place for Marvell Technologies. This is a very good font. This is a very good buy, and I think you're going to be very pleased if you go into it basically now on Marvell Technologies. Let's take a quick look at people from TikTok. Thank you. By the way, if you're looking on TikTok, it's super easy. I'm actually showing the charts here and everything like that. You need to go to this address, and you'll be hooked up with the chart and everything. Super easy to do. Super easy to do. It's actually being simulcast on. It's being simulcast on. It's being simulcast on YouTube right now. And by the way, if you want to know what my name is, that's a question from somebody in TikTok. I'm Jim Malone, and I do the show basically every day at the end of the market, 3:30 to 4:30, and basically I take your questions and try to answer them the best I can using charts and CAN-SIM technology, where to buy stocks, where to sell them, that kind of thing. So thank you very, very much for that question. And by the way, if you want to ask a question, it's a little easier to do it. Just go to this address and just type in the question, and it comes right up, and we'll answer it as best we can. Thank you. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. We're looking here. Okay. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Melly. We're looking at Melly. Let's look at Melly here. Meli. This is a question from TikTok. Maco Libre. I like this company a lot. Unfortunately, it's been falling down a little bit. I still like this stock though. I'll be honest with you. This is the weekly chart. We're below that critical. We're below that critical 200-day average, a 200-day line. But it's looked like it's getting some strength here. I like this stock a lot. I wouldn't buy it right now. You got to watch this one. It's just not ready to go. But here's what I think that you want to do. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set an alert on the alert on this, and where I'm going to set this alert. Let me just see if I can do it. Okay, so that's going to be. I have to kind of see exactly where the 200-day line is. That's really kind of what I'm looking at here. Is I'm trying to see, okay, so the 200-day line basically is right at, you know, 1524. So, and that's basically at 1524. So it's about 2.8%. Okay, so 1524 is probably where you want to set your alert here. 1524. And if it moves above that, it's a possible buy. So, moves above the 200-day line, possible buy. I do like this stock a lot, and I think it's sort of the Amazon of Latin America. I'm just going to put that in there, and that will go in as as an alert. So hopefully, if that triggers, I will come back to that. But very, very good stock. Not a good place to buy it though. Unfortunately, it's below the 200-day line. MELI is the symbol. Very good stock. So very much like it. Let's check in with Nathan. APA, and let's take a look. APA, and let's see what the charts say on APA. Kind of rhymes actually. Looking very nice. It's pulled a little bit above the buy point. It's an oil and gas company. So let's go to the daily chart to see if there's an entry point. Unfortunately, it's a little bit extended. It did break out. It's a cup with handle stage 1, so that's good. That's a strong pattern. The buy point on it is right 2378. It's currently 2620. The question is, could you buy this? Well, it is breaking nicely, but it's a little too extended. What I'd like to do is take a look to see if we could find something in this group right now that looks the best. OVV probably is the best in this group. So OVV has a 100% checklist, and unfortunately it is extended, so I can't recommend it to you. That's frustrating because this is a very, very good stock. This in the oil and gas sector. Currently, I only have one. Well, I have two. I have EOG, which let's take a look on that. I haven't really looked at it too much today, and it's really, unfortunately, it's right in the buy zone. So EOG, you could buy EOG Resources because EOG is right in the buy zone, as opposed to APA. APA is a little bit extended. Probably, wait for a base. But EOG is right now in the buy zone, so that one might be an alternative. That might be an alternative to APA just because it is in the buy zone. So EOG, which is an oil stock, is currently in the buy zone. And why is it so important to buy the buy zone? You say, Jim, why do you make such a big deal out of this buy zone stuff? Well, part of the reason is because basically when you want to buy a stock is after it's gone through what I call a basing formation, which is this is a cup without handle, and then you want to buy it as it's peaking right above the pivot, which is called the buy point. Uh, from the buy point up about 5%. That's your ideal typically, and that's based on studies. That's your ideal point to buy when the market is turning up. So buying, at the buy point or very close to the buy point, even a little bit before the buy point, can be very, 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 very good. And that's the reason why I make such a big deal about these pivots and buy points. It just helps it helps you buy it right, and by buying it right, that's gonna increase your possibility of having a stock that's gonna move very nicely that you can just move your stop loss up on. Typically, what I do when I enter a stock is I put a stop loss in, typically tighter than 7% below where I bought it. So if the stock were to be bought at say $100, I'm going to put my stop loss in at $93, and then I'm going to continue to move it up as the stock moves up. Now, hopefully, I'm right, and as it moves above that pivot, it will move forward and move up, and then I will just push my stop loss up, and eventually it's going to pull back, and I'm going to be sold out, hopefully at a profit. This is kind of a swing trading tactic that I use, and it seems to work very well because it's sort of, there's a million ways to make money in the market, but this way it's kind of an automatic way, and you can follow quite a few stocks this way. So this is how I like to do it. Let's look at DraftKings. DKNG, of course, is the symbol of that. DraftKings has been a little bit funky as of late. I mean, here's the thing. I've been in MGM and some of the casino stocks, and I really like DraftKings, but it's just right now it's just not behaving as well as I'd like. I mean, I'm hoping it'll turn up, but it's below that 200-day line. It's below that 50-day line, below the 21-day line. So I really am a little very very leery, even though there's a reopening trade. The market is turning up. I'm really leery because it's under that 200-day line. So I'm not as interested in DraftKings at this point because I want to see it cross above that 200-day line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look to see kind of where that 200-day line is. So right now, that 200-day line, that 200-day line is right about 50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alarm at $50 for DraftKings, which I do like. I do like the stock a lot, and I'm just going to put crossed above the 200-day moving average, and that may be a place that we could get into it. So I'm setting an alert there. If we see it move above that, that's kind of where I want to see it. I really don't want to buy it, as it's below that 200-day line. It's just one of the rules that I kind of have lived by for a long time, and it does tend to work. So I want to see it get a little bit more power, move above that 200-day line. That may be a good entry for DraftKings. It's a good company. It's a good company. The checklist is a little weak right now, as you can see, 56. So that's part of the reason I'm holding off on it. I'm watch listing it really right now, and I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting for the right moment to come into there. So right now, currently, DraftKings is, it's below that 200-day line, so it definitely would be a watch list there. So that's kind of what you want to look at. So I wouldn't be going into it now. If you're interested in the gambling space, I think you might want to take a look at MGM or Caesars. I'm going to take a look at MGM. Now I own MGM, so I'm touting it a little bit. But as you can see, unfortunately, MGM has pulled a little bit above the buy zone, which is unfortunate. I started coming in at 45 here. I think I don't know if it shows, but I started coming in here as 45 just as we came past that 43.77 buy point. That's where I started coming in. We're starting to flag out here a little bit. Not really, not really serious, but as you can see, we're moving nicely above the potential buy point. The last buy point on the flat base was about 42. It's currently at 48. I don't think you can buy this one, unfortunately, right now. But this sector, is very, very good. There's another company in here that you might want to take a look at, and of course, that is Boyd Gaming. And I want to kind of put that up here for you as well. This one is in a buy zone. It is in the gambling. I mean the gaming space. I like Boyd Gaming a lot. This is a domestic based. Um, uh, this is domestically based, so it doesn't have any exposure to the China, to Macau or anything like that, which is good. The ratings on this very, very strong. The only thing is the earnings per share is a little bit low, but I think that once the economy starts to reopen more, I think you're going to see a lot more action here. So this one is one you might want to take a look at. It's Boyd Gaming, symbol BYD. So I think that one, if you're looking in the kind of the gambling space, that's a good one. I own MGM, just FYI, but I like Boyd Gaming as well. All right, thank you very much. Hey Jim, can you look at AMD and Coinbase? Great. I did buy some AMD yesterday. I started moving it back into the market yesterday, and let's take a look at AMD. I think it's doing pretty good. It was the stock of the day yesterday, and it currently has a double base formation, a double bottom formation, which is excellent. It's right below the buy point, so you can still get into it at this point. We're looking at the weekly chart here, but let's click to the daily chart to see. This is the reversal line that I have here. This is this black line that I put in. So the trend currently for AMD is up. So that's looking very good. It's up after hours, and it looks like it is making a move up to about the 114.49 level, which would be basically the buy point. So I'm a little bit early in this. I may add to this position if we can get past this 1490 is 1449 buy point, because if we can get past there, I think we're going to do. I think we're going to do. I think it's going to go higher. This is AMD currently has a 100% checklist. So in terms of the chips right now, and I'm not currently in NVIDIA, that's really my favorite, but I just haven't got the right place to buy NVIDIA yet. I've been shaken out of it a few times. I still like the stock a lot, but the timing for AMD is a little bit better right now. That's why I went into AMD, and I think this is a good stock. And I think with a 100% checklist in a very top area, the semiconductor fabless area, it's 10 out of 197. So it's looking very, very strong, at least for right now. So you could definitely buy this right now. AMD is buyable, and that's key. AMD is buyable right now, and because it's below the buy point, you could buy approximately a half position here if you just are entering it for the first time. So AMD is looking very, very, very good. And this would be a good place to get it, especially if the market moves to a confirmed uptrend tomorrow, which it may do, but it looking like it may do that tomorrow and possibly on Monday. Hopefully, that's going to be the case. We need a little bit more volume for that to happen. But AMD is starting to make a move, and it's typically when we get these reversals, when we get these moving from market correction to a confirmed uptrend. This is where the strong stocks come out first usually, and it does look like in this case it's AMD, and AMD is I finally started making money on AMD. AMD has been losing the football with me for years. I always buy it at the wrong point, but AMD can be very, very volatile. It can move very, very quickly. Here's the thing about AMD: if AMD moves up, if breaks out and it moves up quickly, you want to push your stop loss up very quickly, because it can be AMD, trust me on this one, can pull back very, very fast. So if you're coming into AMD, keep your stop loss really tight, maybe 2 to 3% below where you buy it. So, but I definitely think it's a good stock, and it's definitely something that you can buy easily, and I think it's a good point to buy it right now, just because it's in a good formation. All right, let's look at Coinbase, COIN. Of course, this was an IPO, and I did buy this when it came out on the first day. I basically held this for about 40 minutes, not a whole lot of time. When it first came out, it's struggling a little bit. it's struggling a little bit, but it's above the 21-day line. It's above the 10-day line. There's good volume coming in here. Maybe we've turned the corner. Let's look at the weekly and see. Well, my weekly is coming up here. It should. Okay. Oh goodness gracious, I'm not getting a feed. Oh well. Okay. Let's see if I can get a feed on the weekly. I can't get a feed on the weekly, but right now, what we have, at least on the daily chart, is it's still, it is in. Let's see if we can reactivate. This is the reversal line. So I'm going to reactivate. So it's just barely reversed. It's got a relative strength of 21. I think you just got to watch list this one for now. So AMD you could definitely buy, absolutely right now. But this one, AMD is good. Coinbase, I think you just want to be a little bit careful on AMD. I think you got to watch list AMD. I mean, not AMD, excuse me. I think you have to watch list Coinbase right now. It's not reversing price. AMD you can buy right now. Coinbase, watch list. That's how I would do it, anyways. I'm not in Coinbase. I am in AMD though. So that's a very good point on Coinbase. All right, let's look at PRFT. 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 See if there's anything proficient. Not that familiar with this company, but it's looking pretty good. So it's in the tech area, which has been getting a lot of love as of late. So that is definitely something that's very good. We had a nice spike in terms of the volume, so it's definitely more than average volume on this. And let's look at the weekly chart. Boy, you know what? This is an interesting stock. There's really no place to buy it, unfortunately. It's just not any place to buy this stock, PRFT. I mean, it's definitely ascending. Earnings are in 14 days, but it hasn't based. It has a 100% checklist. These stocks like this are tough because they just bounce up higher. But typically, we like to see a little bit of a base pattern, and we just don't have it on this stock. There just really isn't a base pattern. Here's what I would recommend. I do think we're probably going to get a pullback to the 10-day line, so I wouldn't buy it here. It's a little extended. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, basically the stock is extended. Stocks kind of move up. They kind of move up, but they don't move up in a straight line. So that's the thing. You got to be you got to be careful because stocks don't move up in a straight line. They just kind of bounce up. They're kind of bouncing ball. So this came out and it bounced at the 10-day line, held the 10-day line, bounced up, bounced at the 10-day, went a little bit below it, but held the 10-day line. So my guess is we're going to see this thing pull back down to the 10-day line. The question is, where is that 10-day line, and where could you buy this potentially? Now, right now it's extended, but if you were to buy this, and I don't really recommend it because it's not in a base pattern, but if you were to buy that, you would need this to basically come down to 122.33 in order to buy it. It's currently at 129.88. Now, where am I getting this information? Well, the SMA, the simple moving average, the 10-day line, is at 122.33. Currently, this stock at 129.88 is 6.2% above the 10-day line. You typically want to buy only when it's within 5% of the 10-day line if you need an alternative buy point. And this is an alternative buy point. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one just because it doesn't have an actual buy point. It's a very good stock and it's moving very, very nicely. But in terms of an entry point on this, I'd be a little bit careful. I would either like to see a formal pivot or a pullback to the 10-day line. So right now, if it pulls back to about 122, and that's PRFT proficient, and it bounces there, then I think you could buy it. So, but right now I think you just got to watch list. I really do. I think you got to watch list this one. Let's take a look at people on TikTok. Thank you so much for taking a look at the show. Think I could get a little bit of net this morning. Well, net has been doing great. It's, these are tough to buy because it's a great stock, Cloudflare. The problem with net right now is that it's just been too successful. It's like there's no base. It's a little bit far. It's a little bit above the 10-day line. It's just tough. This stock is extended, and it's very frustrating because I would like to buy this stock because this stock is extended. And why is it extended? Well, it's above that 10-day line. We want to see it pull back. See, here's the thing. Stocks that are in an upward trend like this, and this is in a very good upward trend, will always revert back typically to the 10 or the 20 or the 21-day line. So if they get too far away from that, that's not a good place to buy them. But when they come back and they touch that line or get close to it, that's a good place to buy it. So let's take a look and see kind of where that 10-day line is. Well, currently the 10-day line is at 133.36. Well, currently that is a lot, very, very far above the 165.82. So unfortunately, right now, Cloudflare is extended. If you were to buy here, it may continue to move up, but more than likely, this is a very steep angle of ascent, and there's a lot of buying coming in here. But more than likely, it's going to pull back and it's going to correct, probably to about 137 or so. So I would be a little bit careful. I would wait on this one. It's extended, but I think you could watch this one. And where I would buy it is when it got to about this 137.07 range. So that's kind of where I'd look to buy it. It's a great stock. I'm not bagging on the stock at all. I'm just saying this one right now, it's a little, it's kind of the horses out of the barn on this one, and it just doesn't have a good. There's not a good primary buy point or a secondary buy point on this one, and it's so unfortunate because, you're just looking and watching this thing move, and it's tough. But I would watch this one right now. That's just basically what you got to do on it. Jay is asking about Apple, which of course is a great stock. I'm not in Apple now because it has pulled back, and I got shaken out of it. I really don't like. I really want to see Apple move above at least 150 and possibly 157, where the buy point is. Currently, and this is painful, but currently Apple is in a downward trend, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a trend line here. So it's in a downward trend. You might, and I'm going to set an alert on that trend line. Let's see if I can do it. Oops. I think it's option. There we go. I think. See if I can set that alert. Yeah. Okay. So basically, it is still in a downward trend. I would not buy Apple at this point. I think it needs to move above the 21-day line, which is that green line. I think you can see it. Yeah, it needs to move above that. Currently, relative strength is 55. I don't think you want to buy it right now. So, I just right now, unfortunately, Apple is probably not a buy. So, right now is not a buy. And that's kind of I wish it was because just I just wish it was, but I can't in good faith say, oh yeah, you should buy Apple here. I don't think so, unfortunately. So I'll put a little frowny face there. Anyways, so so right now I just don't think Apple is a buy, and that's painful because I like the stock. I've owned the stock. I've made money in the stock, but right now I can't buy the stock because it needs to reverse higher. So that's kind of my take on Apple. And I wish it were better, but I don't think you want to be in it right now. So I do believe Apple still is it's still sort of in a downward trend. I'll be honest with you, still in a downward trend, which stinks. But anyways, that's the way it goes. All right, CRG. SCRG. Okay, I don't know the stock. I just don't know the symbol. I might know the stock, but I don't. The symbol CARG. Okay, let's look at it. Yeah. Okay, online automotive place. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Let's see if I can get that out of the way. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that's interesting. So it's an online automotive space, and for some reason, it's not letting me. It's not letting me get out of the smiley face. There we go. Now we can see it. It's right in the buy zone at 35.06. So that's looking interesting. There is a. I don't know why it keeps wanting me to. Let's see if I can click off of that banner. There. Okay. Well. Okay. Let's just go up. Let's see if we can pull this banner off. There we go. Okay. So I think maybe this will let us do that. Okay. There we go. Too much software. Too much software. Um, okay. 88 relative strength. Let's take a look at it really quickly. It's got a 100% checklist. Boy, that's good. Internet content, 27 out of 197. That's looking good too. So this is definitely, wow, this is actually very, very strong. Let's look. There's a cup with handle with a buy point. Let's take a look at this section. Let's take a look in this. Golly, what is wrong here? I'm getting, well, it's wanting to. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, so maybe I can get this to come up. All right, all right. Nope. Not letting me. Let's see if I can get this chart up here. I'm having difficulty with the chart, so let's see if I can move it down. I think it's probably I have it zoomed in too much. Yeah, I'm afraid that's the case. I think it'll let me at you know at a little at 100% magnification. It probably won't do it, but it might do it at 125. So hopefully this will work. As you can see, we have this cup, and we're coming right above the pivot there. We're in the buy zone. It's looking very strong in terms of everything else. It's got a 100% checklist, which is really good. I want to check this internet content area to see if if there's something there. So this is number 27. So let's kind of look at internet content, and it's not okay. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to the industry groups and I'm looking to see kind of where the money's moving in the market, and that's always a good thing. Now, internet content is about 20. Let's see, internet content. Uh, let's see. That's about 23. I'm just looking to see where internet. Ah, there it is. Internet content. Ah, there it is. Okay, this is a definitely improving area. I mean, this is like just a few months ago, this was in the bottom half of the market. Now it's starting to really move up. So this is a place we ought to look for leaders. And so this is a very good look here. Now, of course, Google's the number at the top of here, Facebook and Tencent and C Limited. The one I think you want to look at is C Limited. This is an internet company based in Singapore, and I do think it's getting ready to make a breakout. I do think it's getting ready to make a breakout. I want to kind of show you this here. This is the reversal line on Tencent. I'm not Tencent, on C Limited, SE Limited. And oops, let me see if I can get it to go there. So see, I can go option, click, and then hopefully we're going to get. Let me. Hopefully it'll let me set the alert. Come on, baby. Set the alert. All right, there we go. Okay. Well, it didn't let me set the alert. Goodness. But this is one you want to put on your watch list, I think. If you're into the internet content area, it's very strong. And it looks like it's getting ready to reverse higher. I want to kind of look at the chart to see the checklist. Checklist is pretty good. 78%. I definitely like that. The funds, lots of funds are in it, and I like that. Let's look at the options to see if there's. No, I guess there aren't any options on that because it's ADR. But I guess there are names. This is one that you might want to look at as opposed to, as opposed to the other. But this is a very, very strong group. And I think that, you're very, very likely to do very, very well in it. So my thoughts on Shell. Okay, well, that's interesting. I'm going to see. Let me take a look at Shell. Shell trades obviously on the London exchange, and also I think it trades in Amsterdam as well. Um, and I think it trades on ADRs on the New Yorks. But let's. I don't really know its symbol offhand. Let me see if I can find that. It's okay. And let's see. That symbol should be RDS RDSA, I think. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can bring that one up. R Royal Dutch Shell. Okay. See if it'll let me do that. I don't think it will. RDS. Nope, it's not allowing me. Unfortunately, I wish I could give you better information on that. It's trades. Unfortunately, the Shell trades on the New York. I mean, on the it trades as an ADR, but on New York. But I don't know what that symbol is. So Shell. Let me see if I can pull up the ADR. Goodness gracious. Not letting me do. You know what? I can't do it. Yeah, it's RDA-A is the symbol. So I can't help you on that, unfortunately. All right, let's look at BHP. Even though it is a massive company, um, it's just right now the where you want to be is in the U.S. drillers, not necessarily in the integrateds like ExxonMobil. I want to take a look at ExxonMobil too. That's a good point. BHP, of course, this is the huge Australian mining conglomerate, not doing very well right now. It's in a downward trend. The relative strength is 17. It's well below the 200-day line. The 40-day line has crossed it. So here's the thing on this one. I just would be super careful right now. Just looking at this chart, just really, just looking at this chart, I just don't think you want to be in it. It's just not, it's just not looking very, very good. So here's the thing. I would avoid the stock for now, and BHP, I would avoid it for now. So that's kind of what you gotta do with BHP. So I would avoid BHP at least right now. Okay, so let's take a look at let's look at space. This is Virgin Galactic, and of course, kind of an unrelated news. I guess Blue Origin. I don't know if they've launched or not. Um, I have I've made money on this stock before. I'm not currently in it. It's in a downward trend, and it just I did very well on this run up to 57, but it just hasn't been doing well. I think you just got to avoid it for right now. I don't even think it's really I don't even think it necessarily it's a watch list, but I just you know you just gotta avoid it. So I would avoid space. I would not buy it right now. I want to wait until it comes above that 200-day line in order to buy it. So I would be a little bit careful with space as well. So let's get back to some of the questions from YouTube. All right, let's take a look. Mark C, KMI with a 6% dividend. Interesting. KMI. Look, Kinder Morgan. Yeah, good company. This, of course, is a pipeline based in based in Houston, I believe. Natural gas. Yeah, this is going to do very, very well. There's going to be a bit of a shortage, unfortunately, of natural gas this winter, and it's going to affect the New England states probably more so than any other section of the economy and section of the country. And I think it's very unfortunate that I think it's just a lot of bad policy by our government that this just didn't have to happen, but it's going to. I mean, they don't have enough pipeline capacity into the New England area, and so it's constrained, and the price of natural gas is going up. So not only is electricity going to cost more because that's typically the way that most electricity is generated in this country now, but it's going to be more expensive to heat the house. And it's sad because it doesn't have to be this way, but you can make money. You can make money. uh, you can make money. I don't, I'm not a dance on the grave kind of guy, but this one is probably going to do very well. This is a dividend stock par excellence. This is a tremendous dividend machine because you know they put the natural gas in the pipeline in Cushing, Oklahoma, and then it just goes all over the country. And it's as long as some hackers don't take it over like they did the Colonial Pipeline, it's a pretty much of a winning business model. So, and it's not a very expensive stock either. It's like $18. So, definitely like this one. Definitely like it. Let's look at the fundamentals. Fundamentals on this are great. The sales are up 23%, which for a pipeline is very, very good. Profits up significantly, 35% quarter for quarter. So very good growth on this. 32% of the stock is owned by funds. It's got really nice cash flow considering, you know, it's a 14 PE, which you've got a return of 6% on the equity. So this one is very, very good. We're coming up to a very nice buy point here on a cup basis. 1929 is the buy point. So I think this is totally viable, and I think this is definitely something that you could do right now. I think you could buy a half position, no problem, and I don't think you would be penalized for it. The only issue that I see right now, and this is an issue, is earnings are in 6 days. So here's what I would do on this one if you wanted to go buy um, Kinder Morgan. What I would do is I would wait, wait for earnings and then buy. That's kind of my that's kind of my thing. I would wait for the earnings and then buy it. Earnings are in 6 days, and so you don't want to buy too close into earnings because no matter what happens, sometimes you get a fall off. It's not as much with the pipeline company because that's pretty easy to predict. But it can be that way. Let's also look at Energy Partners. By the way, I actually did some contract work for them. So let's see. I'm trying to think what their symbol. Well, anyways, but so right now, Kinder Morgan looks good. I wouldn't buy it though. I wait for earnings. See how it comes to earnings. Probably going to do well in earnings. Then I would buy it. I wouldn't buy it before earnings. Just it's not a good practice, especially in a market in correction. We're technically now in a market in correction, so you got to be careful. I wouldn't buy it until we see earnings because earnings are going to be in 6 days, and then I guess that'll be what Tuesday of next week. Um, then possibly Wednesday if it looks good, you could possibly buy it. It's a good stock. It's got a good chart too. All right, let's take a look. Took an ADS put position today. Buy now, pay later. Okay, well let's look at ADS. And that's interesting. The TikTok viewer is looking possibly for a downward trend. Well, kind of looking like a downward trend. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, definitely has a downward trend. So, that's not okay. A put position would be, I mean, it definitely follows the trend. There's no question about it. But we did move up today to the 40 day line. So we may get a reversal there, but yeah, that's I would be a little bit careful. Here's the thing: I would set my stop on this. I would definitely set my stop on a put, and I would be very very careful about this. But I probably wouldn't let this put. I probably would set it basically. If the stock moves over $8.95, I would liquidate the put because this one could push higher in the short term. So I'll be a little bit careful with that. Um, you know, uh, puts can be a very very good way to make money, but you got to be careful because here's the thing about puts. a put typically will stocks when they're in a downward trend typically will reverse much quicker than if they're in an upward trend. So it's just weird how that works. Just weird how that works. Oh, ASO. Let's look at ASO on there as well. ASO. And of course, that's Academy Sports and Outdoors. And one of the advantages of Academy as opposed to Dick's Sporting Goods is that Academy actually sells firearms, and here in Texas, that's a pretty big deal. So they of the sporting good retailers, I think they're really the class act. Now the chart, it's fallen a little bit off the chart. It moved up beautifully through this 42.75 buy point, and then it moved very very nicely. But since then, it's kind of in a downward trend. Now the question is it going to reverse at that 40-day line? We don't know. We don't know yet, but it does look like the group. Let's see if the group is moving up or down. It does seem like this was such a hot group about 2 months ago, but right now I don't think it is getting as much attention as it was. Let's go over to the group in general and see sort of the stocks in it. I want to look. I kind of always like to potentially look at the leader. Now, Academy is the biggest company, and Dex is number two, but it's probably the Sportsman's Warehouse. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I want to look back at the at the whole group, and let's take a look. It's pulled below this line. It looks like it's reversing, so I would be a little bit careful in this group right now, Marash. I'd be a little bit careful in this group, just because it looks as if the market is starting to not favor the retails as much as it has been. It looks like it's moving. At least what I'm seeing is that we're seeing a lot of action moving into some of the chips like AMD and some of the software companies right now. And it's funny because this market has just been really tough to play because it moves it moves up and down and sideways. So very tough to play. But I probably wouldn't buy ASO at this point just because of the way it looks. Aquin, OCGN. When I had a mortgage, I think with Aquin at once. I think it's the same company. OCGN. This is one of the biggest. If I'm not mistaken, this is nope. It develops therapies. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought this was Aquin Mortgage, not not Aquin. I don't. This is in the biotech area. I am not a great biomed guy. I'll be honest with you. Um, if you know what you're doing in this, it looks like it has just moved above the reversal line. It looks like I'm going to reactivate that line. It looks like it came right above it and it went back down. So it's definitely something is going on. Relative strength is 99, so that's looking good. Checklist is decent, 67, so that's not bad. Boy, would I buy this? You know, I just this is going all over the place. The weekly chart. Let's look at the monthly chart. I want to kind of look at the yeah. This would be a tough one to buy. So I probably would not buy this one. I would probably not buy this one just because I am not an expert in biotech. And so anything I tell you on biotech is probably wrong because I don't have I really just don't have the expertise in it, to be honest with you. All right, this is probably the last one for today. BX and AMD. We did cover AMD, but let's look at BX here and see. Blackstone. Yeah, this is the company, of course, that is trying to buy up, I think, all the residential homes in the United States. I don't know. But it does look like it's getting better. It's up about 11%, 11 cents after hours. Relative strict 95. It's in the finance area, of course. That's definitely improving in terms of an area. So could you buy this one? Well, maybe there's here's what I don't like about Blackstone. Here's what I don't like about Blackstone. Blackstone has a lot of exposure to what I consider toxic assets. And one of the things that I think you got to be really careful with Blackstone on is they have a lot of China exposure. And The Chinese real estate market is in a bit of a difficulty right now. Evergrande, which is one of they're the most indebted companies, can't make its payments, and Fantasia, which is it's a smaller one, can't make its payments. Country Garden is the biggest China-based property development company, but they're having trouble making their bond payments. Now, why is that? Why does that have to do anything with Blackstone? Well, the reason it has to do with Blackstone is Blackstone has positions in some of these bonds, and so I just don't like Blackstone. I'll be honest with you. I'm just a little afraid of it. I have no idea what their exposure is. It's kind of like an Enron potentially. I mean, I know that everybody has their money. All these pension funds have their money with Blackstone, and and all that. But boy, I am really leery about those guys. They are, I think that who knows what's going to happen. I can't. I don't have any insight information. But Blackstone scares me a little bit, just because of their exposure to things like, foreign bonds that are denominated in dollars, like Country Garden and Fantasia and some of the other ones. So I would be really careful with Blackstone in general. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for taking a look today, and I so enjoy doing the show. It's such a pleasure, and I hope that everyone, we may see a reversal, and that would be tremendous. If we see a movement higher, if we see a follow through day, possibly it probably won't happen until tomorrow. We may be off to the races on Monday. Just saying. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but if that happens, it's likely to be a large movement into some of the tech stocks that would be normally in the QQQ. If you want to get exposure to the market and you don't really want to do any stock picking, one of the things you might want to look at is possibly taking a position in the QQQs. I do think we're going to move up. I mean, that's what the charts are telling me. And the QQQs might be a good alternative. Now, here's what the QQQs are. It's an ETF that basically covers all of the top 100 stocks in the Nasdaq. So I do think we're going to see the Nasdaq follow through. We had a follow through day on the S&P today, but the Nasdaq may be close behind. This is one that I think you might want to look at in terms of, this is an easy one. You don't have to do any stock picking on this one, and it's kind of slow and sure wins the race. But it's the Qqq Trust, and the symbol is QQQ, Invesco QQQ. So you might want to look at that if you want to get. I do think we're going to get a reversal. I think it's going to come from a market incorrection to a confirmed uptrend. And if it happens, it'll happen very quickly. This is a good way that you don't have to pick stocks. You can just get exposure to it directly. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to try to put out possibly the ready list. I don't know if I'll get to it tonight. But one good thing is if you go over to www.Dallas Trading Floor and sign up for the action trailer, it's very easy to do. Just your first and last name and an email address or even an SMS, and you'll get on the list, and we will get it out to you. We will have a ready list. These are stocks that are not necessarily, I don't necessarily recommend you buying them, but they're at close to buy points, and they're ones that you might want to look at, just kind of get familiar with. And I'll be sending that, but only to people that are on the action trailers. And if you want to if you want a kind of a daily thing and a really good chat room, we do have a Discord room, and it's really, really good. And you can find out about it by going to www.Dallas Trading Floor and then punching on the button. Now, this is a pay service, so I'll be upfront about that. But a lot of people have had some very, very good results, and we have some good traders in there, and we're getting better every day. So. This is a good way to go to if you're serious about possibly making more money in the market. Anyways, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so very, very much, and happy trading. And I'll be back 3:30 tomorrow, Central Time, 4:30 Eastern.